Day 58, Numbers 29. On the first day of the 7th month, gather in holy worship and do no regular work. This is your day of trumpet blasts. Sacrifice a whole burnt offering, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male yearling lambs, all healthy, as a pleasing fragrance to God. Prepare a grain offering of 6 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil for the bull, 4 quarts for the ram, and 2 quarts for each lamb. One was ram and the other one was lamb. Plus a he-goat as an absolution offering to atone for you. These are all over and above the monthly and daily whole burnt offerings, where the grain offerings and drink offerings are prescribed, a pleasing fragrance, a fire gift to God. On the 10th day of this 7th month, gather in holy worship, humble yourselves and do no work. Bring a whole burnt offering to God as a pleasing fragrance, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 yearling male lambs, all healthy. Prepare a grain offering of 6 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil for the bull, 4 quarts for the ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs. Also bring a he-goat as an absolution offering to atone for you, in addition to the regular whole burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. Gather in holy worship on the 15th day of the 7th month and do no regular work. Celebrate a festival to God for 7 days. Bring a whole burnt offering, a fire gift of pleasing fragrance to God, 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 yearling male lambs, all healthy. Prepare a grain offering of 6 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil for each of the bulls, 4 quarts for each ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 14 lambs. Also bring a he-goat as an absolution offering, in addition to the regular whole burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 2nd day, 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 yearling male lambs, all healthy. Prepare grain offerings and drink offerings to go with the bulls, rams, and lambs, following the prescribed recipes. And bring a he-goat as an absolution offering, in addition to the regular whole burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 3rd day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male yearling lambs, all healthy, yearling lambs. Prepare grain offerings and drink offerings to go with the bulls, rams, and lambs, followed by the prescribed recipes. And bring a he-goat as an absolution offering, in addition to the regular whole burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 4th day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male yearling lambs, all healthy. Prepare grain offerings and drink offerings to go with the bulls, rams, and lambs, following the prescribed recipes. And bring a he-goat as an absolution offering, in addition to the regular whole burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. Excuse me. On the 5th day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male yearling lambs, all healthy. Prepare grain offerings and drink offerings to go with the bulls, rams, and lambs, following the prescribed recipes. And bring a he-goat as an absolution offering, in addition to the regular whole burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 6th day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male yearling lambs, all healthy. Prepare grain offerings and drink offerings to go with the bulls, rams, and lambs, following the prescribed recipes. And bring a he-goat as an absolution offering, in addition to the regular whole burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 7th day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male yearling lambs, all healthy. Prepare grain offerings and drink offerings to go with the bulls, rams, and lambs, following the prescribed recipes. And bring a he-goat as an absolution offering, in addition to the regular whole burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 8th day, gather in holy worship. Do no regular work. Bring a fire gift of pleasing fragrance to God, a whole burnt offering, 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 male yearling lambs, all healthy. Prepare grain offerings and drink offerings to go with the bulls, rams, and lambs, following the prescribed recipes. And bring a he-goat as an absolution offering in addition to the regular whole burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. Sacrifice these to God as a congregation at your set feasts, your whole burnt offerings, grain offerings, drink offerings, and peace offerings. These are all over and above your personal vow offering and free will offerings. Moses instructed the people of Israel in all that God commanded him. Numbers chapter 30. Moses spoke with the leaders of the Israelite tribes. He told them these commands from the Lord. If a man makes a promise to the Lord or says he will do something special, he must keep his promise. He must do what he said. If a young woman still living at home makes a promise to the Lord or pledges to do something special, and if her father hears about the promise or pledge and says nothing, she must do what she promised. She must keep her pledge. But if her father hears about the promise or pledge and does not allow it, then the promise or pledge does not have to be kept. Her father would not allow it, so the Lord will free her from her promise. If a woman makes a pledge or a careless promise and then gets married, and if her husband hears about it and says nothing, she must keep her promise or the pledge she made. But if her husband hears about it and does not allow it, he cancels her pledge or the careless promise she made. The Lord will free her from keeping it. If a widow or divorced woman makes a promise, she must do whatever she promised. If a woman makes a promise or pledge while she is married, and if her husband hears about it but says nothing and does nothing to stop her, she must keep her promise or pledge. But if her husband hears about it and cancels it, she does not have to do what she said. Her husband has cancelled it, so the Lord will free her from it. A woman's husband may make her keep or cancel any promise or pledge she has made. If he says nothing to her about it for several days, she must keep her promises. If he hears about them and says nothing, she must keep her promises. But if he cancels them long after he heard about them, he is responsible if she breaks her promise. These are the commands that the Lord gave to Moses for husbands and wives and for fathers with daughters living at home. Mark chapter 13. As Jesus was leaving the temple, one of his followers said to him, "Look, teacher, how beautiful the buildings are, how big the stones are." Jesus said, "Do you see all these great buildings? Not one stone will be left on another. Every stone will be thrown down to the ground." Later, as Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, opposite the temple, he was alone with Peter, James, John, and Andrew. They asked him, "Tell us, when will these things happen? And what will be the sign that they are going to happen?" Jesus began to answer them, "Be careful that no one fools you. Many people will come in my name saying, 'I am the one,' and they will fool many people. When you hear about wars and stories of wars that are coming, don't be afraid. These things must happen before the end comes. Nations will fight against nations and kingdoms against other kingdoms. There will be earthquakes in different places and there will be times when there is no food for people to eat. These things are like the first pains when something new is about to be born. You must be careful. People will arrest you and take you to court and beat you in their synagogues. You will be forced to stand before kings and governors to tell them about me. This will happen to you because you follow me. But before these things happen, the good news must be told to all people. When you are arrested and judged, don't worry ahead of time about what you should say. Say whatever is given to you to say at the time, because it will not really be you speaking, it will be the Holy Spirit. Brothers will give their own brothers to be killed, and fathers will give their own children to be killed. Children will fight against their own parents and cause them to be put to death. All people will hate you because you follow me, but those people who keep their faith until the end will be saved. You will see a blasphemous object that brings destruction standing where it should not be. You who read this should understand what it means." At that time, the people in Judea should run away to the mountains. If people are on the roofs of their houses, they must not go down or go inside or get anything out of their houses. If people are in the fields, they must not go back to get their coats. At that time, how terrible it will be for women who are pregnant or have nursing babies. Pray that these things will not happen in winter, because those days will be full of trouble. There will be more trouble than there has ever been since the beginning, when God made the world until now, and nothing bad will ever happen again. God has decided to make that terrible time short. Otherwise, no one would go on living. But God will make that time short to help the people he has chosen. At that time, someone might say to you, "Look, there is the Christ." Or another person might say, "There he is," but don't believe them. False Christs and false prophets will come and perform great wonders and miracles. They will try to fool even the people God has chosen, if that is possible. So be careful. I have warned you about all this before it happens. During the days after this trouble comes, the sun will go dark, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky, and the powers of heavens will be shaken. Then people will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. Then he will send his angels all around the earth to gather his chosen people from every part of the earth and every part of heaven. Learn a lesson from the fig tree. When its branches become green and soft and new leaves appear, you know summer is near. In the same way, when you see these things happening, you will know that the time is near, ready to come. I tell you the truth, all these things will happen while the people of this time are still living. Earth and sky will be destroyed, but the words I have said will never be destroyed. No one knows when that day or time will be, not the angels in heaven, not even the Son, only the Father knows. Be careful, always be ready, because you don't know when that time will be. It is like a man who goes on a trip. He leaves his house and lets his servants take care of it, giving each one a special job to do. The man tells the servant guarding the door always to be watchful. So always be ready, because you don't know when the owner of the house will come back. It might be in the evening or at midnight or in the morning while it is still dark or when the sun rises. Always be ready. Otherwise, he might come back suddenly and find you sleeping. I tell you this, and I say this to everyone, be ready. And that's all from me today.